Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company House of Sillage. This is their newest release. It's called Whispers of Enchantment. I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my perfume review of Whispers of Enchantment by House of Sillage, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what it smells like, how long it lasts, if it reminds me of anything, the prominent notes in it, so on and so forth, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like perfume reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And of course, if you can give this video a thumbs up, it would really mean a lot to me. And so this is the most recent release in the collection. Whispers of Enchantment is the name of this fragrance. Of course, you have the beautiful and luxurious looking cupcake style bottles, the 24-karat gold-plated caps with the Swarovski crystals just conveys a sense of opulence. And this is a really enchanting fragrance. So you have the orange in the opening, you have a little bit of geranium as well, contributing to a rosy vibe. You also have rose, Damascus rose used in this fragrance. And then you also have jasmine, you have some green notes in the base, a little bit of leather as well. So it's a very complex fragrance, and I'm personally also picking up on a little bit of sweetness in the base, which is not revealed in the note breakdown. But I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell, let you know what notes I pick up the most of from this fragrance. But let's start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that citrusy vibe. So I'm getting a little bit of orange in here, and of course there's also petitgrain in here. And petitgrain can smell a little woodsy, but it can also smell a little bit like neroli as well. And so it has a little bit of that citrusy flavor, but there are some woodsy accents which I think are prolonged into the base of this fragrance, thus securing that long lastingness that you're looking for from a perfume. And of course, House of Sillage fragrances are very strongly concentrated, so you can expect them to last upwards of 7, 8, 9 hours, depending on where you apply and what the weather looks like and your skin chemistry and all that stuff. All that will be a variable determining how long it lasts on your skin. But getting back to the olfactive nature of it, it opens up with that citrusy vibe. I'm definitely getting that orangey flavor in the opening, if you will, but I'm getting a little bit of petitgrain from this as well. Now, as it starts to dry down, the rose really starts to come through, and it's a really gentle rose that you're going to get from this fragrance, and it comes across smelling rather clean as well. And I feel like the reason for that is because you have that grandiflorum jasmine note in here that is also natural, and that combination of the rose and the jasmine really conveys a sense of purity, but also enchantment as well. It's a really interesting smell where you keep going back to it, and you feel like there's something in there that you're not quite able to put your finger on, just because there's so much of that complexity happening from the top to the heart to the base. And then of course, as you get into the base, you start to wonder what ingredients are contributing to that leather accord. And the reason I say that is because there's no such thing as natural leather in perfumes. It's all in accord. And of course, there are a lot of spices that are used in the in the synthesis of a leather accord. Saffron is one of the most popular ones. And I'm not getting saffron from this fragrance per se, but I'm also not getting anything too dark or smoky from this fragrance. So funny enough, I do pick up on that leather vibe, and it's more like a suede leather to me. And so it comes across smelling very smooth, very regal, very expensive as well. And I'm also getting a little bit of that earthy texture coming from the patchouli as well. So in terms of recommendations for this fragrance, it's really for anybody, right? If you're a little bit older, if you're a little bit younger, if you're looking for something to wear casually, but also if you're looking for something to wear formally as well. I think it's very upbeat, very cheerful, happy-go-lucky on account of the citrus that's in here, but it's also not hesitant to bring out its darker side with the leather and the patchouli. And so I actually find this to be pretty versatile. Now, going back to something that I said in the beginning of the video, I'm actually picking up on a little bit of sweetness from this fragrance too. And I'm thinking There's a little bit of vanilla in here too. Now, I don't know if it's, you know, natural vanilla or ethyl vanillin, because vanilla is actually not listed in the note breakdown, but I am picking up on just a touch of sweetness, which I think is amplifying the earthy elements of the fragrance and allowing them to be a little bit more agreeable as well. And so this is a very pleasant fragrance from top to bottom, from the citrus to the florals to the woods and the resins and that touch of vanilla that's in here as well. Actually, it could be benzoin or labdanum as well. So it's a very sort of mysterious and enchanting fragrance, and it definitely gives off that casual yet formal vibe. And of course, with House of Sillage fragrances, I'm inclined to wear them in a formal scenario just because I think they all come across smelling very opulent and refined, and it's not your typical freshie that you're seeing on the designer market. And so kudos to the brand for releasing another spectacular release. Of course, Whispers of Truth Noir is an awesome fragrance. And then we also have Whispers of Temptation, which is a little bit on the darker side. That one certainly contains saffron and a lot of it, and I really like it for that reason. But here is something that's a little bit fresher on account of the citrus, and I'm a fan of this one too. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, definitely a unique fragrance. Can't really compare it to anything else. And just that combination of ingredients in here is something that I haven't really smelled before in another perfume. So certainly unique, very easy to wear, very appealing, and very accessible formula as well. In terms of the longevity, you can expect about 8 to 9 hours on your skin. The projection was great for the first hour and a half, especially while those citrusy elements were lingering in the opening, and it didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 7-hour mark. In terms of the versatility, I think it's perfectly unisex. I think a lot of the ingredients in here, from the rose to the citrus to the patchouli, could work equally well on a guy. So perfectly unisex in my opinion, could be worn dressed up or dressed down, and I think this one would work well in any season and any occasion. I say it can be worn in the hotter weather on account of the citrus, the petitgrain, and the mandarin, and then I think it can be worn in the colder weather on account of some of those heavier ingredients like the patchouli and that leather accord. In terms of the presentation, you guys know what I think about that. I've reviewed a few already from the company House of Sillage. My final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are looking for a bright, citrusy fragrance that also transitions into something dark, but not too dark or bold or aggressive, but just dark enough to show a shade of its personality, definitely check out this fragrance. I think it's an awesome fragrance and an awesome release by House of Sillage. Definitely a great release for the year 2021. So happy that I've had the opportunity to review it on my channel for you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your viewership and your support. That was my fragrance review of Whispers of Enchantment by House of Sillage. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. And of course, if you can give this video a thumbs up, that would really mean a lot to me as well. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.